Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Ever find yourself like daydreaming about what it'd be like to work with your hands, create something, beautiful and lasting? Well, today, we're stepping into a world that's all about the fascinating world of coppersmithing.
It's a craft that's, both ancient and incredibly relevant today.
So true. You might be picturing like a blacksmith, hammering away at red hot metal.
Yeah.
And while that's part of it, our deep dive into RoleCatcher's career guide, it revealed there's so much more to coppersmithing than meets the eye.
It's a field that blends brawn and brains in a really unique way.
Okay, let's unpack that. We're diving deep into RoleCatcher's insights on what coppersmithing looks like, today, where they work, the skills you need, and even how to nail that job interview.
Right.
Think of it as your crash course on whether this could be like the career path you've been searching for.
And I think you might be surprised by what we've uncovered.
For sure. I know I had this image of coppersmiths mainly crafting pots and pans.
Right. Maybe some fancy roof ornaments.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling adventurous.
But RoleCatcher paints a much more diverse and intricate picture.
You're absolutely right. While those traditional applications still exist, coppersmithing today, it extends far beyond the kitchen.
Wow.
Think architectural elements, intricate sculptures,
Yeah.
even highly specialized, custom-made parts for various industries.
It's amazing to think about those gleaming copper accents you see on buildings, the ornate details on a handcrafted sculpture that's the handiwork of a skilled coppersmith.
And the demand for these skills is growing, particularly in a world, increasingly focused on sustainable construction.
Yeah.
Did you know copper is incredibly durable and 100% recyclable?
Right. It seems like using non-ferrous metals like copper is becoming like essential in building a greener future. So where do these like modern day coppersmiths practice their craft?
RoleCatcher describes a variety of work environments, from bustling workshops to large-scale manufacturing plants. Some coppersmiths even find themselves like on construction sites or in art studios.
Wow.
It really depends on their specialization and the nature of the project.
Okay, so definitely not your average desk job. I'm imagining a mix of traditional craftsmanship and modern technology at play.
You're spot on. While the clang of the hammer and the heat of the forge are still very much central to the craft, today's coppersmiths often work with advanced tools and technology, like computer-aided design or CAD software to create those intricate designs.
It's like this fascinating blend of artistry and engineering. You're not just like shaping metal, you're shaping designs, right?
Yeah.
Bringing ideas to life in a really tangible way.
Exactly. And that brings us to another common misconception RoleCatcher tackles.
Okay.
The idea that coppersmithing is all about brute strength.
Right.
While it's certainly, a physically demanding craft, it also requires immense precision, attention to detail, and a keen eye for design.
So it's not just about wielding a hammer. Tell me more about these like specialized tools of the trade.
Well, beyond, the iconic hammer and anvil, you've got an array of tools specifically designed for shaping and manipulating copper. We're talking chisels for engraving, shears for cutting, files for smoothing and shaping,
Right.
and soldering equipment for joining pieces together.
Wow.
And let's not forget about, the importance of precise measuring tools. Accuracy is key.
It sounds like the modern coppersmith needs to be as like comfortable with calipers as they are with a blowtorch.
Absolutely. And you've touched on an important point, safety.
Yeah.
Given the intense heat,
Right.
heavy tools,
Right.
and potential for working with chemicals, safety is paramount in this profession.
That makes sense. So for anyone listening who's thinking, this sounds incredible, but how do I become a coppersmith?
Right.
What does that like journey look like?
RoleCatcher highlights the significance of apprenticeships in this field.
Okay.
Imagine, learning the ropes from a seasoned coppersmith, gaining hands-on experience under their guidance.
Yeah.
That kind of mentorship is invaluable.
It's like a passing of the torch, literally. You're not just learning a trade, you're becoming part of a lineage.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And while formal education might not always be a requirement, a commitment to, continuous learning is essential. RoleCatcher mentions that specializing in a particular area, such as jewelry making, restoration, or even working with a specific type of copper, can open up unique opportunities for career advancement.
Okay, so we've got a handle on the tools, the skills, the training. But let's talk about the reality of the job market. What are the pros and cons of a career in coppersmithing?
That's where RoleCatcher's insights become really valuable.
Hmm.
On the plus side, you're looking at a career that offers, immense creative satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
You're working with your hands, problem solving,
Right, yeah.
and seeing the tangible results of your efforts.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the potential for self-employment, maybe
Ah.
even starting your own workshop or design studio.
And as we touched on earlier, the growing demand for copper in sustainable building practices suggests a good deal of job security. Robots might be taking over some industries, but you can't easily replicate the artistry and expertise of a skilled coppersmith.
Very true. But it's important to acknowledge the challenges, too.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher is upfront about the physical demands of the job. Long hours on your feet, potential exposure to heat and chemicals.
So it's not for the faint of heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's the financial aspect to consider,
Right.
especially for those, just starting out or working independently.
Mm.
Earning potential can vary widely based on experience, specialization, and location.
It's a trade-off, like any career path. But for someone with a passion for craftsmanship, that tangible connection to a centuries-old tradition, it sounds like the rewards could be immeasurable.
I think so.
Huh.
There's something, incredibly fulfilling about creating something beautiful and enduring with your own two hands.
Speaking of which, let's say you're ready to take the plunge. You're polishing up your resume, prepping for those job interviews.
Right.
What does RoleCatcher have to say about acing that Coppersmith interview?
Get ready to showcase not just your skills, but your passion for the craft. RoleCatcher offers some insightful tips on how to, stand out.
Oh, okay.
For starters, be prepared to answer the classic question, what inspired you to pursue a career as a coppersmith?
Right.
It's your chance to go beyond the, technical skills and share what truly draws you to this work.
And beyond sharing your passion, what other tips does RoleCatcher offer for nailing those interview questions?
Well, they emphasize the importance of showcasing your expertise.
Yeah.
You'll want to be ready to discuss your experience with different, copperworking techniques, the types of projects you've tackled,
Right.
and how you approach design and fabrication.
So it's about being able to speak the language of coppersmithing, demonstrating that you understand the nuances of the craft.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to highlight your problem-solving skills.
Okay.
Coppersmithing often involves, finding creative solutions to unexpected challenges. That's a valuable asset in any workshop or on a job site.
Resourcefulness. That's a great point. So you've aced those technical questions, showcased your skills and passion.
Right.
Is there anything else interviewers might be looking for?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher points out that coppersmiths often collaborate with other professionals,
Okay.
like architects and designers.
Right.
They suggest being prepared to discuss, your teamwork skills,
Mm-hmm.
your communication style, and
Right.
your ability to work effectively as part of a larger team.
It makes sense, even though there's a strong individual aspect to coppersmithing.
Right.
You're often working towards a shared vision.
Exactly. And speaking of shared values, don't forget to highlight your commitment to safety. As we discussed earlier, it's a crucial aspect of the job.
Right.
Be prepared to discuss safety protocols,
Mm-hmm.
the protective gear you prioritize,
Okay.
and your approach to maintaining a safe work environment for yourself and others.
Because ultimately, a responsible coppersmith is a skilled coppersmith.
Couldn't agree more.
Mm.
And here's a final tip from RoleCatcher that I found particularly insightful. Be ready to share how you stay current with advancements in the field.
That's a good reminder that no matter how skilled you are,
Right.
there's always more to learn, new techniques to explore.
Exactly. So be prepared to talk about the industry publications you follow,
Mm-hmm.
the professional organizations you're part of,
Okay.
even those, late night YouTube deep dives into experimental coppersmithing techniques.
Showing that you're a lifelong learner of music to any interviewer's ears. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from the ins and outs of the profession to acing that job interview. What would you say to someone listening who's feeling inspired, maybe even a little fired up about exploring the world of coppersmithing?
Well, I'd say welcome to the adventure, but I'd also encourage them to delve deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, RoleCatcher provides a fantastic starting point.
Yeah.
They list a number of relevant organizations, from the United Steelworkers to the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers.
Wow.
These groups offer, valuable resources, networking opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
and a chance to connect with fellow craftspeople.
It's about finding your tribe, your community of makers and creators. I bet there are online forums and communities too,
Yeah,
where you can swap tips, share projects, and geek out over all things copper.
absolutely. And remember, even if you don't pursue coppersmithing as a full-time career, the skills you develop, the precision, the problem solving, the artistry, those are transferable to so many other fields.
It's a path with options, a journey of discovery. And that brings us to the end of our coppersmithing deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like incredibly inspired by the craftsmanship, the artistry, and the enduring legacy of this ancient craft.
Me too. It's a powerful reminder that some things are timeless, that working with your hands to create something beautiful and enduring will always hold value in the world.
Beautifully said. And for anyone listening who's ever been captivated by the warm glow of copper, the intricate details of a handcrafted piece, remember the legacy of coppersmithing is a story that's still being written. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to add the next chapter.
I have a feeling we haven't heard of the last clang of the hammer just yet.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of coppersmithing. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that spark of curiosity burning bright.